Somehow I ended up at the mall this weekend. I don't even know how. And then I ended up in the Swatch store. I feel like I was in a drunken haze. I ended up buying a MoonSwatch, even though I said to myself I would never buy another MoonSwatch. And here we are. I bought another MoonSwatch. It's the new white dial 1965, and I have to say I am very impressed with this watch. I think it's really good looking, and I have one hands-on. There are some slight differences between this and the previous MoonSwatches, ones that don't have moon phases or earth phases or Snoopies on the dial. This is a very straightforward version of the MoonSwatch. So let's flip the camera and take a look at my latest purchase. I really don't know how this happened. The 1965 MoonSwatch. It's been a really long time since I've made a video about a MoonSwatch, and of course I do impulse buy once in a while. I don't plan out every single purchase that I make. So I was at the mall, I went into the Swatch store, and they had every single MoonSwatch and 50 Fathoms swatch in stock that they had on display, which kind of blew my mind. I have never gone into a Swatch store where they actually had all of the watches that they had on display. And they didn't have this on display, but they had it in stock. I asked for the 1965. He said, absolutely, we just got them in, and I have a bunch in stock. I actually texted my friends. I said, hey, go over to the mall and get one, because it's pretty cool. And I think this is probably the best MoonSwatch that they've made thus far. They've come out with plenty of editions now. I do like the Earth phase. I almost bought that one instead of this one. I may end up going back and getting that gray dial, that opaline dial, moon phase, Earth phase. I think that one looks really good. They also had the Snoopies in stock. I almost bought one of those. I swear to God, I am not addicted to watches, but I really don't need this watch. There's no reason why I bought it. I just think it looks good. It's inspired by the pre-moon landing Speedmasters. Those had black dials. This has a white dial, so it's not exactly the same. It does get some small updates. It's a black and white version of the MoonSwatch. You get that logo right at the 12 o'clock. That is the vintage Omega logo that they used back then. It's exactly the same as every other MoonSwatch that you've encountered, except for that little logo right there. I think there's a couple of other small details, but nothing major that you're going to notice. It's a 41.8 millimeter watch. If you measure it at the case, if you measure it at the bezel, it's 40 millimeters. It's 13.8 millimeters thick. And then you have an around 47 millimeter lug to lug. It still comes on the terrible straps that these come on. And I have to say, this one is pretty terrible. They're all terrible. These are basically the same. They haven't really improved these. They have come out with some new straps, which I ordered. So they came out with some rubber straps that are thinner and actually wear way more comfortable. I tried it on while I was at the Swatch store, and I just ordered one right away because it was really nice, much nicer than this strap, and it comes in all the different colors. So if you want the gray version to have a gray strap like this, so they make a strap for this in gray. Now, I actually ordered the black one because I think it looks really good with a black strap, so that's what I went with. You could order anything that you want. It's a chronograph. It functions as every other MoonSwatch. This one actually lines up with the 12 o'clock index, so the chronograph hand actually lines up, which is good. Most have not. Most of the ones that I have owned in the past. Also, it's a quartz chronograph, so you have a beating seconds hand. That second hand actually lines up with the indices. Again, I think that's probably a fluke. Most of the ones that I've owned have not. That's because it's just the luck of the draw. I actually got a pretty decent one this time. You have a plastic crystal, not an acrylic crystal. So this is a plastic crystal. It is boxed and domed and scratches very, very easily. The case is made out of bioceramic. It's a basic mixture of castor oil and ceramic. It feels like plastic. Awesome watch though. Very quickly, let me show you the watch that I have on my wrist, and then we will throw this watch on my wrist. We'll do a lume shot and wrap up the video. This is the watch that I purchased right before this watch. This is an Angelus U50 tourbillon. It's a diving tourbillon with 300 meters of water resistance in grade 5 titanium. You have a small seconds, that running tourbillon right there around the 6 or 7 o'clock position in between Just a really cool, very complicated dive watch, something that you would not see very often. It has an inner rotating bezel as well, which is, again, very uncommon for a dive watch to have a tourbillon. That's the reason why I've always loved this watch. And there it is on my 7.5-inch wrist. It's around a 42 millimeter watch, around a 13.5 millimeter thickness, somewhere in that range. And then you have a 47 millimeter lug to lug. The strap is very uncomfortable. I do not like their straps. I think that they are cheap and they sort of bulge out over here where they fold down because they are too thick. I think the rubber straps sort of solve that problem, I guess, but all in all, I hate this strap and I do not like wearing it on this strap, although I think it looks really good on this strap. They're also really hard to put on because of this little portion of the strap that has that plastic keeper or bioceramic keeper. And it's just really hard to put on. You have to actually lay your hand down on a desk to get it done. Very quickly, let's do a lume shot. And there's the lume. It's not incredible. Obviously, all of the little indices have a little bit of lume on them. The hands are lumed. That chronograph running seconds is lumed. There's some other effects that they put on here with UV light. You can see them, but they are not lumed. Each one of the registers, at the top of the register, there is a number, and it glows when you have it under UV light, 19, 65, and 60. So just a little bit of an effect there, a nod to 1965, but other than that, you really can't see it when it's lumed. They should have lumed it. It would have been a better effect, in my opinion. All in all, for well under $300, I think this is like $365 with tax or something like that. Really not a bad deal. I do really like this watch. I know there are plenty of other videos that I've done about the MoonSwatch, and my complaints around the whole entire process and what they've done, but now this was actually a pleasurable experience. If I ignore what happened in the past, this was actually not a bad experience. They had the watch that I wanted in stock. There was no line. There are versions of this available online if you want them, so it is not terrible. This is what it should have been way back when they first released it, but there you go. If you want a Speedmaster-esque looking watch, a MoonSwatch, a plastic version of the MoonSwatch, this one is the best looking one in my opinion. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It's super helpful for the channel and I very much appreciate it. Anyway guys, thank you for logging on. Thank you for watching this video. I will catch you guys in the next video.